Hello and welcome back to AirTac Hunting. Today we've got the FX Panthera Hunter Compact. We've got 23 grain Javelin Slugs. It is extremely windy. I hope we're lucky and we're going to see what we can do. So sit back and enjoy. Right, before we continue with this hunt, I'm going to quickly take you through how I set up my ballistics and scope tape on my gun these days. And I'm using the brand new Element Optics ballistics app now, which go in conjunction with these Element Optics scopes, of course. And you can find it on the Apple Store or the Google Store. It's a really nice app they released, and I'm going to take you through all the steps to do this. Okay, first up, you're obviously going to open the app, and once the app is open, you're going to set up your units. This is very important. It's the very first thing you should do. Now you can use imperial or metric, and you can mix them up here if you want as well. The app will do all the calculations. Doesn't matter what units you choose where, but the one important thing you need to do here to get your click values is to choose the click value of your scope so that one unit equals one click. On my case, I've got a 1 in 10 MRAD scope, so every 10 clicks is 1 MRAD. So that's what I'm going to select there, 0.1 MRAD on the app there. I'll just touch it there so that you can see. And the rest of the stuff, as I said, you can choose as you want. It doesn't really matter. The app will do the calculation in the background. Okay, so once you have all your units set up and you have it just the way you like it, you're going to select a profile. I'm going to go profile 1, and then we're going to go into the projectile menu. This is where you're going to choose what projectile you're going to shoot. Obviously, I'm shooting the 23 grain Javelin, and you can select the 23 grain Javelin by going into the airgun projectiles database, or you can do it manually. I selected manual because I want to set up my stuff manually, and the reason for that is I want to use the G1 ballistic profile here, which is also listed on the Javelin packaging. If you pull it up from the database, it's going to use the RA4 one, which is also fine, but because I'm going to shoot short distance with this gun, G1 is the better option for me. So I select G1 there at the top, and then the ballistic coefficient I'm going to type in manually as well, which is 0.083, as you can see on the container there. And then I'll go done, and then the bullet weight is 23 grains, self-explanatory there. And then the caliber, this one is the 218, so I'm just going to change that to .218 and go done. And then the bullet length, I'm quickly going to measure one. These are not super important, but every little detail helps. But you can estimate these as well. The main important thing here is the ballistic coefficient, which must be absolutely spot on. So this is 7.16 millimeters, and in inches, I'm going to change it over to inches, 0.282 inches. So I'm just going to put that in there, 0.282 inches. Go done, and that's all in there. And then once that's done, we can go back, and then we're going to choose the muzzle velocity. Obviously, this is where you would need the chronograph. I know what my gun's speed is at the muzzle because I've measured that just a while ago, and that's 905 feet per second. And the next very important option here is your scope height. So scope height is from the middle of the scope to the middle of the barrel, and that is very easy to obtain. You take your caliber again, you measure the barrel, and you divide it by 2 to get the radius. You measure your scope, you divide that by 2 to get the radius. You add the 2 together plus the height of the scope from the barrel to the bottom, and you add all those 3 together, and then you get your scope height. In my case, it's 5.9 centimeters, as you can see there. I'm just going to leave it like there. And then your zero range, at what range you zeroed the gun. So you have to zero your gun before you do this exercise. Obviously, I've already done that, and that for me is 20 meters. So I put 20 meters in there, which is correct. And then the rifle twist on air guns, that's not super important, especially for me and my application here, because it's short range. The twist rate's not going to really affect anything significantly to have that in here. But I know the twist on this barrel, and that's a 22 twist, and it's going to the right, so I've got all that info in there. And then BDC reticle step, you don't have to worry about that. That's for the Hyper R7 scope. Don't need to worry about that. Sorry about the cars going past. and then you just update that. Weather info is the weather at what you zeroed the gun. So this is my zeroing weather. This is what my weather was, so I'm just going to leave it like that. That's where I zeroed it. And then obviously on the day when you shoot, you can get your current weather, and the ballistics will be calculated according to that. Again, this is not going to make a massive difference in your trajectory, so don't worry too much about the weather stuff. Just get your zero weather correct and you'll be more or less correct. Wind speed, we're not going to worry about that now. That you can put in while you shoot if you want to add wind to your windage and all that stuff. It'll calculate that for you as well. And once that is done, your gun is set up or ready to be scope taped. And then it's very easy because you already zeroed your turret. You know that's the zero mark, and you leave it on zero there. And then you're going to go to table. Now, very important in table here is go to the maximum range that you think you will dial to. In my case, I'm just going to go to 200. I'm not going to shoot that far, but having 200 is a bonus. I'm just going to go 200, and then the next step is also very important. It's the range step. In my case, I'm going to do every 5 meters. So that's where I'm going to put the marks on my scope tape, is for every 5 meter increments. You can play with that as well. If you want 10 meter increments, you're welcome to do that as well. I find that 5 works in my application extremely well. I'm going to do 5, and then you have your whole table here with all your click values. And then it's very easy. You tape up your turret with masking tape, obviously remembering where the zero is, and once that's done, you just mark your zero again on the tape, and then you put your 20 meter marker on the zero marking. And then from there it's pretty easy. You just follow the elevation click column there, and you see that 25 meters is down 3. Then you count down 3 and mark it. And once that's marked, you go to the next one, say 30 meters. You see that is also down 3, so it's on the same mark. So that kind of shooting pretty flat at that stage still. You go to 35, put down the 35 mark. You go to 40, you put down the 40 mark, and 45, and so forth. So you just count the clicks, and you'll see at some point it will go to up 1 at 45, and up 3, up 6, and so on as the distances increase. And just according to your table, you mark where your distances are going to be on your turret, obviously counting the clicks as you go. And that is basically it. That is all I do when I set up my gun ballistically. I never go out to the range to go and true it or anything. I just trust the data. We just go out and hunt with a setup, and it's never let me down. It's always worked. The maths always work out, and we take birds down at 200, 150 meters, no problem whatsoever. So yeah, just works. Well, that concludes this quick tutorial on how to use the new Element Optics ballistic app. So let's continue with the hunt. So this is a nice compact gun. So we're quickly going to slap the AccuTech bipod on there. We're using the Saber Tactical bottle clamp, just the easy setup to do. And yeah, get her ready up there. It's pretty windy out there, so I don't know how much we're going to get, but we're going to try anyway. Right, today is going to be an extremely windy day. A lot of wind has been forecast. So we're going to keep the distances short. We do have 23 grain slugs, so that helps as well. And I think Maggie's got the first dove in her sight, so let's get going.
Oh, yo, that just fell straight down at 34 meters.
As you can hear, it is extremely windy. It's not going to be easy today. The branches are swinging in the wind. You have to hold for the wind. It's very challenging. But as I said, we've got a 23 grain javelin traveling at about 905, 910 feet per second. So it should hold up pretty well against the wind. It's pretty decent BC on there, so it shouldn't be too bad. We're just going to keep the distances short and make sure that we do get our targets down. Maggie is already onto another one. This time it's a pigeon.
Yes, got that one, and the other one flew away.
The wind pushed the slug to the left, but still made a solid impact. As you can see there, it's pretty easy for Maggie to carry the gun on her side because it's nice, short and compact. And she's not a very tall person anyway. and she can still manage it, so it makes this gun a perfect gun to carry around in the field. And Maggie's got a pigeon ready now. Let's just range it for her there. 33 meters. The scope tape makes life very easy, as you can quickly dial to the distance you need. Phew, nicked him over the head. You got him. And there he goes. It's not a perfect shot, so we must go and chase him down quickly.
Meters. Let's go and find him.
This was quite extraordinary. The first shot goes straight through the neck, but somehow only clipped him, causing some damage. The second shot was a tricky one, but Maggie gets him through the vitals and down he goes. We went and looked for the pigeon, but he was gone and most likely taken by the local farm cat. So we decided to move on and look for the next target. So we're going to have to walk around quite a bit today in search of our targets. Try and see if we can chase them out of the sheds, because they like to nest inside the roofs, especially the starlings and the pigeons. And that's where they're going to be today, in their nest, hiding away from the wind. See, that's where they like to sit, hiding away from the wind. Got him. So I even struggled to keep the gun still in the wind. But he's dead. That's about 26 meters. A nice solid impact, and then I had a second opportunity on a pigeon. Oh, wind just pushed it to the left. The same thing happened here as with Maggie's shot, straight to the neck, but somehow didn't connect. And I can't believe this happened twice on the same day. But that is hunting, and on we move to the next target. 62. Got him, 62 meters. Awesome. Okay, so our strategy is to just wait around at certain spots and just scan the trees, because it's easier today to see them fly in and see where they go and sit, and try and find them between all the branches, because they don't sit on the open branches today. They like to sit right in between the leaves, and then it's very difficult to spot them. So when they fly in, you can actually see where they go and sit, and then you can go search for them. So while we wait as well, let's talk about the tune of this gun quickly. So I've got the regulator at 180 bar. Now this gun is set up to shoot pretty hot, because it's got a very short runway. This is a very short 380mm barrel, and it's shooting 23 grain slugs, which is pretty heavy for a short barrel like that. So we pretty much got the gun maxed out. 180 bar on the reg. The hammer is on 23. The quick tune system is around about on 4, around there as well. So yeah, gun is pretty much maxed out, shooting very inefficient as well, so we don't get a lot of shots out of the system. Even with the 2 bottles on here, it's just using so much air. And the other reason why I've got the reg so high is because you got such little runway. You don't want a long pulse of air, because that's going to waste a lot of air out of the barrel. It's going to destabilize the slug. So you want a short impulse shot, a short burst of air, so that once the slug leaves the barrel, there's no excess air going with it to destabilize it. And that's just the thinking behind it, and it shoots very, very good like this. Like I said, the only downside is shot count. Even with the two bottles on here, it's still not enough. They probably get about 1 magazine out of the system. Because the reg is so high as well as a 250 bar full, it doesn't give you a lot till it reaches 180, and that's the other downside. But for hunting, it's actually perfect, because you can 1 magazine is enough to do your rounds, go back to your air source and fill it up again, so it's not too bad. So while we waited, we saw a pigeon fly in and sat on a nearby roof, so it was time for action. And down he goes. 68 meters, dead. Another neck shot, but this time it's very effective, and this pigeon rolls down the roof and doesn't last very long. That was actually pretty awesome. The moment I took the shot on that pigeon, the wind completely died for some reason, so I just held dead on and yeah, got him. With that shot down, we decided to call it a day and head back to the truck. Well, that is it. We are done for the day. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Today is one of those days that things just don't work out as always. But it's part of hunting, that's how it goes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button. Remember to subscribe, and then we'll see you later. Cheers.